Guys,
What?
Yo,
we live.
Yeah.
what up? Hey, on the new day too, on Monday night. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Welcome
so
to new
for the-
Mondays.
for the YouTube crowd, we have made the decision through much debate, shifting the pod to Mondays.
It took about 30 seconds worth of conversation. It wasn't
Yeah,
much debate.
yeah, pretty much. It was like,
more like why did we do this on Saturday?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
more like, hey, let's do Mondays. Yeah, Mondays is better for me. It's better for me too. Yeah, Mondays is better for me.
Why did we ever start this shit on Saturday?
And we couldn't remember why we started it on Saturday, and so now it's Mondays.
Correct.
Hey, look, when I joined this thing, it was already on Saturday, so I just went with it.
Okay.
All right. Josh, drinking some apple juice over there?
That's right.
All right. This is water.
Wow. Hey,
Not-
it is the 4th of July.
I didn't.
Yeah.
It's not vodka or anything.
I gotta get my.
Well, Dave's got to work in the morning. Now he's the one who's got to go to work in the morning
I know.
after this thing.
Hey man, I'm just happy I don't have to get up at 4:30.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. Well,
Me as well. Dude, I have a question before we get going on the pod.
yeah.
Why does this show keep getting better?
Which one?
The boys.
The Boys.
What we're talking
Oh
about.
yeah, dude.
Also, Fossil, you were a fucking maroon, bro.
What did I do now?
What are you doing just now finishing season 1 of Game of Thrones? That means you're going to have to watch all 10 episodes of season 2 this coming week, bro.
I know. I'm a glutton for punishment. Having a baby got me behind. I honestly, the idea was to pound out like a couple of seasons before the baby was born, but then she showed up, 10 days earlier, and it's kind of got everything off track. Plus, for everybody who has ever watched Game of Thrones, season 1 is, I wouldn't say a slog.
It's
Very
excellent.
difficult. It's
not.
very difficult. No. I completely agree, but it's a lot of character building. It's a lot of world building, introductions. The story really gets ramped up as we get going along. And then at the end, spoiler alert, Ned dies.
Well, look.
And
Let's.
It's hard for me to get to that point because I hate watching Ned die.
Let's save this conversation for the pre-show of the Game
All
of
right.
Thrones season 1 episode.
All right, well, let's get into the boys here so we can talk about this shit. Hey, I got one question. I'm ill-prepared on one thing. What was the name of the soup who caught that shield to the fucking face?
Mindstorm.
Is it Mindstorm?
I think so.
It is Mind something. I can guarantee you that.
I have it written down here somewhere.
It is Mind. Wait, no. Hold on.
Yeah, it's Mindstorm.
Yes, you are correct. Mindstorm. Who
Okay.
who gets his head deflated.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
that's
dude,
brutal.
he gets caved in.
It's brutal.
Spoiler alert.
All right. Very good.
All right.
We ready?
Josh, we ready, man. We ready.
Bullet.
Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents The Boys, Season 3, presented by Amazon. I'm your co-host, The Human Dart, along with...
Jason Tsunami.
And David Disaster.
We're back in the saddle, guys.
Oh, god damn it, dude. Like, we're back. This is a good time for us because we're watching The Boys. We're rewatching Game of Thrones right now because we're also doing a Game of Thrones pod leading up to the House of the Dragon. And I think we might be watching the 2 best TV shows of all time. I don't know.
I can't disagree.
The goddamn Boys is so fucking good.
You know,
They have yet to miss on an episode.
I'm glad you brought that up, Josh, because sometimes when if you're watching like 2 television shows at the same time, it sometimes will like, I don't know if everyone's like this, but you just kind of subconsciously compare them, right? And so, a show will be good. Like you'll start one show and it's really good, and then you're like, oh, let me watch this other show, and then it's like, oh man, that first show not quite as good. that's not what's happening with me with The Boys, right? Like I'm already near the end of season 2 on the rewatch of Game of Thrones, and I'm not sure this is all that much. Is it even better than The Boys? Like, it's really, really good.
Yeah, I'm into season 5 on Game of Thrones,
Lord.
and I think they're both great and they're both different.
Yeah, I think that's the key takeaway there.
Yeah.
There's also a lot more of Game of Thrones, obviously, with it having like 8 seasons. But I think the whole point of that is The Boys holds up to one of the best shows, if not the best television show ever made, depending on who you talk to.
Yeah. But if you were having this conversation, not to go to Game of Thrones here, because we're going to do that for the next podcast. Everybody look forward to that. We're doing an 8-season review of Game of Thrones, starting with season 1 tonight. It'll come out sometime this week. But look, if you had Game of Thrones that was only up to like season 5, let's say the season 3 of The Boys and season 5 of Game of Thrones were going at the same time, I think it would be more of a competition in your head on what show is better. Only because season 7 and season 8 exist, and they do a poor job of finishing that thing off. But if you didn't know that, and if you were just on season 5 and season 3, I think it'd be really close.
Man, imagine if both these shows were running at the exact same time and they were both on season 3. Man, I don't even know which one you'd go with, to be fair.
Yeah, they both give you something very different, though. Like, there's the backstabbing, political, murderous side of Game of Thrones, and then the absolutely in-your-face, gratuitous sex,
and then the backstabbing, political, death of The Boys.
Yeah,
language. I mean, everything.
Man, I just worry. I guess this is not a worry, right? But like, I feel like The Boys is going the way The Boys is kind of ramping up. I'm like, does this thing only have like 2 seasons left in it? Like,
I'm already concerned.
Like,
well, there's a lot of shows that do that. Sons of Anarchy was a show that I think ended more so on a high note than overstaying its welcome. Like, it only went 7 seasons, 13 episodes a season, and it still went out super strong.
See,
Breaking Bad was like that too.
I mean, but 7 is a lot. Like, that sounds like a good number. I feel like these days, Stranger Things, biggest Netflix show of all time, and that's only going to have 5 seasons, right? So, like, The Expanse, I know Jason and I watched that show. It only had 5 or 6 seasons.
I don't know. There's a new season, but that's one of those shows like where it kind of flamed out for me. Like, I didn't watch any of last season. I haven't watched any of the current season or whatever it was.
But I guess my point is like, I feel like shows these days, they focus more, I guess, some of the shows, not all of them, but a lot of shows kind of focus on quality over quantity here. And,
because I mean, this show could easily go to 10 or 13 episodes. And then normal sitcoms go to 22 episodes, right?
Yeah.
So this show could very easily stretch out to 10 or 13.
But it's packing it in 8.
I feel like with it going to 8 episodes, like, I think we're getting 8 fucking killer episodes versus a couple of fillers.
They have no fillers. Right. Every episode matters. Damn near every scene is important. And God, I just don't even know how this. I don't even know how this last episode is going to end. Like, I still have no idea like how this is gonna go.
It can go a million different directions.
But I guess we should get into it. Jason, you want to hit us with that recap of the penultimate episode of The Boys?
All right. Well, look, before I get started, I just want to take a moment to say Happy 4th of July. It was on this day, back in the year of 1996, that then President Thomas Whitmore not only helped pull the world together, also inserted himself directly into the final conflicts against the alien invasion. And once again, in his own words, we are fighting for our right to live, to exist. No. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but the day that the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly in the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We are going to live on. We are going to survive. For today, we celebrate our Independence Day. Shout out to President Whitmore.
Yep. Best
Dude,
president
I was
we
totally
ever
sitting there
had.
for a second. I was like, 96. That was Clinton, wasn't it?
Dude, I'm not going to lie, Jason. I thought Jason was just drunk and just completely decided, you know what? Political podcast, here we come. These guys
We're going
don't know
off
what's
the
about to
fucking
hit 'em.
rails.
I'm going off the rails. And I was like, dude, I was literally sitting here like, do I pull the plug? Or I was waiting for Josh to give me a signal.
I wrote all that out, and I slid it over to my wife. I was like, what do you think? And she looked at me and she's like, please don't do this.
So that's when you knew that you had
That's
to
when I
do
knew.
it.
You know,
Because like I
you had to
know
do it.
people. I was like, I know people that listen to this podcast, and I said that's why it's going to be great.
Okay.
Ah.
All right. Congratulations, Jason. You definitely
I got everybody.
puckered me up nice and good. So
Yeah. All right. So the boys, episode 7, another heavy-hitting episode from the boys. Let's just jump in. Black Noir, through flashbacks, acted out by his imaginary cartoon friends. Yes, you heard that right. It's revealed as one of the. It's revealed that he's one of the main conspirators in selling out Soldier Boy to the Russians. And according to the cartoon reenactment, Soldier Boy, he might have well deserved this. Butcher, Soldier Boy, and Huey are hunting another former member, Mindstorm, who, although gets the jump on Butcher, eventually takes a knife to the temple and Soldier Boy's shield to the face. About a dozen times after revealing some secret just out of earshot. In other news, A-Train lives, and he now has the recently deceased Blue Hawk's heart as a transplant. Starlight scores some perma-V for Kamiko and has a great exchange with Homelander that broadcasts live without his knowledge until the very end. We also learned that Temp V is lethal after 5 doses. Kamiko gets her powers back in what should have been a really big deal. But then we get the bombshell. In a phone call, Homelander and Soldier Boy, Jerry Springer chimes in with, "You are the father."
Bro, it's Maury Povich.
yeah,
does that
it
stuff.
totally is Maury.
They all do that.
No.
Yeah, but that's Maury's like shtick. You are not the father.
And then it goes
I
da-da-da-da-da.
thought Jerry Springer did that too.
I don't want to do too much. We're gonna get this copyright striked if I sing that song out too much.
I feel like you sang the song to The Price is Right there. I feel
No.
like we're like crossing streams here.
No, it was the Guile. It was the Guile theme. That's how it starts, dude.
Oh, okay.
Guile theme goes with everything. Google that.
Yeah.
right.
Listen, man, a fucking like another rock solid episode, ending with a bombshell that I think we've all had this conversation this week of how do we not see that coming? And I think the show did a really good job of like protecting the timeline of like how old really is Homelander, when was he made in the lab or born or whatnot. Like, I think the show did a good job of hiding all that, so it was really difficult for you to put that together. That wasn't low-hanging fruit, in my opinion.
So, whose jaw was open when that was revealed? Like, as the credits are rolling, because I was sitting there like,
Dude, I was just like,
and I was beating myself up big time.
yes.
Well, I was expecting something because you fucking texted me and ruined it and said, "Oh my god." So I'm like, okay, that's something that's.
You didn't know when it was going to happen. That text could have been anything.
I was like, yeah, it could have been like, dude, check out the dump I just took. But so I knew something was coming, and then he's on the phone with Homelander. I'm like, oh shit, and then he drops the bomb that he's his fucking father, and I was like, oh my god. So I was like, I get it.
Yeah, that's fucking brutal.
Oh.
And look,
Because I think that opens it up to go back to the prediction. I don't know who said it earlier on that we could have Homelander and fucking Soldier Boy team up.
I said that.
That was Dave.
Look, I definitely think at this point, this season does not have a happy ending. I think this season ends on some pain and agony.
No, I said that from the beginning. I felt like we were overdue for the bad guys to... Because, think about it. Ultimately, Homelander and his crew... Well, mainly just Homelander at this point. He's been losing. He's been taking L's all season, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he did get control of Vought, but, like, I almost feel like that might have been orchestrated as well.
That also hasn't really been a big win for him. That's been more of a pain in the fucking ass.
And he's been taking L's one after the other. And
he takes an L in this episode when he kind of goes spastic on that speech.
Yeah.
For the election.
Oh, for the president, and then the same thing, getting caught by Starlight's phone.
Yeah. And dude, this next episode is going to. I think good guys are gonna die. Like, blood is gonna run, for sure.
Hey, but we did get something that we hadn't gotten in a while from Homelander.
Milk.
The milk scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was. As soon as I saw him walk in the barn, I saw the cow. I was like, "Oh no,
no! Here we go.
This dude is gonna milk this cow."
And then, dude, that looked like it wasn't his first time milking either. He had good form.
Oh yeah, like he was a pro.
I would rate his form about a 10 on the shitometer.
Yeah, because he could have easily just tore the udders off of that cow.
Yeah,
but he had real touch, man. Where he was like,
it's hard.
It was
to
good.
do that wearing those gloves.
That actually looked like they really milked that cow. Like, that looked like a real... Like, I don't think that was a prop cow. Like a prop
You don't
udder.
think that was a CGI cow?
No.
Cow?
No, that was not a gimmick udder. Like, I think that was legit udders. Cow titties, guys. We've been talking about cow titties for 45 seconds. I just want you to know that.
Man. I think Homelander's going to kill Homelander, and I don't know. I'll save it for predictions, but I think there's some pain. There's some pain coming.
Some interesting things that came out of that I'm just now thinking about, but I just wanted to bring it up if you guys caught it. But Homelander mentioned that all the survivors of Soldier Boy's attack have lost their powers.
Yeah.
That was kind of an off comment, but I think that's important.
Well, the ones that live.
That's what I said. Survivors. That would imply that they lived.
That's true.
I mean, I don't like the problem with
he's like, maybe
the hero-gasm is there was a mix of like soups and not soups. Like, you still see Love Sausage carrying around his big massive dong.
Well, it's a physical. It's a physical thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it made it grow.
Do you think that's like some guy who's been pumping steroids all his life, and so he's got all these big muscles, and then he stops, and so then he becomes like super flabby? Do you think it's the same thing? Like, he loses his power, but he's still got like this stretched out dong skin. Without Compound V,
I mean, it's never gonna dude. I mean, if it ever got hard, he would just die.
Right, because all of his blood would go there.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have enough blood in his body to make that thing hard.
I don't know. He looked like a big hefty dude.
So does he have to like tie it into a knot and put it into a hefty bag or what?
He
was carrying it when he left after that party. It was
so does he pee? Can he just does he just throw it into the toilet bowl?
How many bladders do you think he has?
Just one.
Just one, you think?
But how long? Doesn't he have to hold on, think about it. If it's low, right? He has to push with enough force to get the piss out of it, right? You ever mess with those a twirly straw?
Yeah.
As a kid?
Right.
Same concept, right?
And this is physics lessons with 3 guys and a mic.
Hey, I just want you to know that you've been talking about Dick for over 45 seconds.
You brought him up.
I knew this was going to happen, Dave.
So anyway, let's move on.
I think there's a lot of good predictions that are going to come up later. So let's just jump into favorite scenes. What do you guys have for favorite scenes?
It's hard not to pick the Butcher scenes with his flashbacks.
Yeah, basically the flashbacks. Yeah,
yeah,
those were tough to watch, man.
Like all of them, basically. Like I'm gonna count all of them as kind of like, I know it's cheating, but like one sequence. I mean, but really, I think this is like a like my comeback player of the week. For Butcher in terms of just like character growth and development. I mean, he's had a lot of moments in the season, but like this was his showcase and kind of seeing where he came from, seeing what kind of shaped him. We got
some of this last season whenever we saw his dad, right?
Yeah,
so we kind of got a little bit of this story, but yeah, this was like
you didn't get the full
boat.
And dude, obviously the last part of it with his brother, when his brother ended himself,
brutal.
That was not easy to watch and not fun. But
do you think this changes Butcher going forward? Because we already saw a little bit of like him changing his attitude towards Huey a little bit. Do you think this is like a long-term change, or do you think it's more so just like the hangover after the dream?
I think he does. I think he does.
Yeah, the problem is that as soon as this kind of flashback happens, he gets like, it's within just a few minutes or like 5 minutes or whatever that Starlight calls him and lets him know about the temp V that's going to kill him if he takes 4 or 5 doses. And he looks right at
I
you.
think he's already. I think they're already 5 deep.
Well, as best I can tell,
I think he is 5 deep.
3.
And Huey's at least 3.
Yeah, I think
Butcher's 5,
3 and Butcher's at 4 or 5 already.
They're both in danger.
Now, my theory there is Butcher's going to take that as like he's telling him, "Oh, we got to get more temp V." I think he's going to get permanent V.
He doesn't need it. Frenchie has some.
Well, I mean, he doesn't know that at the time.
Yeah, yet, correct. But I don't know how
That's true. I forgot about that.
I don't know how exactly you procure a permanent V in how high profile of an individual Butcher is at this time.
Yeah, but
or does he give Huey that permanent V and he takes like a super dose of the temp V to try and go against Homelander on the way out and dies? Is Butcher the one who dies?
That's kind of like my think when we're getting into the.
Can they afford to kill Butcher? I don't think Butcher can die in season 3, or
Did they both take permanent V?
The problem with that is you can't have every hero on permanent V, right? Because then it takes away the tension.
Yeah, the whole point of the boys was the fact that they're just normal blokes taking on suits and trying to find creative ways to take them down.
So then is the end game here, do they eventually kill Homelander and then Butcher becomes the big bad because he's going to have to take permanent V to survive here, and then they get Huey off of it, and is it Huey, MM, and Frenchie and Kamiko tracking down Butcher as the big bad like 2-3 seasons from now?
I don't think you can, man. I think you just can't replace Homelander as the villain of the show. Like I think
Homelander's got to be the last kill.
He has to be, because
kind of like the Night King.
Yeah, he is the ultimate like because there's no one that you'd want to hate more. Like it would be so anticlimactic, right?
Yeah. Well, speaking of Homelander, he's in one of my favorite scenes, and basically it's the phone call between him and Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
Where Homelander discovers that Soldier Boy is actually his dad.
I mean, it's a great scene.
Yeah, I mean, well acted. Just an oh shit moment that, to your point, like maybe that should have been low hanging fruit for us to figure out, but I feel like most of the people that watch the show did not put that together.
No, I didn't see that anywhere in predictions from anybody. I mean, I'm sure somebody probably did, but I didn't see it in any major promotions. But great scene. Great bombshell. Jason, we got any scenes?
I mean, look, it's I mean, it's all the Butcher stuff. Like that shit is just. I mean, it's this show does a really good job of kind of weaving what some kind of like batshit crazy with some very heavy hitting serious work. And as much as Butcher grinds at you to make you want to like hate him in one regard and respect him in the other, like this episode was just, god damn, man, it was so good.
Yeah.
It's so good for Butcher's character because now you know like why he's kind of fucked up the way that he is.
Yeah.
And you understand more about why he keeps doing this, this shit that he does. Like he's programmed that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one other scene to call out before we move on is it's the A-Train hospital scene with Ashley. Yeah, it's so good.
Dude,
especially when he finds out that his heart's been replaced by Blue Hawk's heart. Oh, dude, so good.
Dude, I mean, look, Ashley as a character, she's kind of been whatever, but man, this season she's just done a good job of kind of being like unlikable. If that makes sense.
She's a walking cringe machine.
And it's
it's not because she's doing something bad. It's because the way she's playing the character is perfect.
Oh yeah, she's doing a fantastic job. It's just like she's like A-Train baby.
When she dies, God Almighty, that's gonna be glorious.
A-Train's back, baby.
She's like that's what you do, right? That's what we do. Oh okay. Yeah.
We're gonna get your original uniform. A-Train's back.
Yeah, she's like, you don't mind talking shit about Starlight, right? And he's like, no, I get. She's like, okay, great. And a small shout out to the Black Noir cartoon flashback scene. Just like, dude,
that was funny.
Like Black Noir is fucked up. He's got problems. Like more than
as a clone to Homelander. I mean, it's obvious that he's gonna have issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. What is the next category, Josh?
Death?
Is it any question?
This week? No, it's obvious. It's the Mindstorm shield to the face.
Yeah, he basically created or turned Mindstorm into Pac-Man.
Yeah,
and it
he
was
put that stack on his head, and it's just like you can't see exactly what he does. Like when Soldier Boy throws that throwing knife and it sticks through his temple and out his eye, that looks bad. But he puts the sack over his head. He just goes to town with the edge side of the shield, and it just like he turns that to like a sack.
I would venture to guess that he decapitates him above his bottom jaw.
I feel like if
everything from his upper set of teeth up is separated from
I just feel like if you took the bag off, like things would just fall out. Like various parts of his head would just fall out.
Zach is keeping it all together.
It was absolutely brutal. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Favorite character this week?
God, it's I'm just gonna throw it out there because I usually say these types of things anyway, and it's the low hanging fruit stuff for me. I think it's got to be Butcher. Just because it was so central focused and like, I really felt like, again, like we just talked about, just getting to see this part of the Butcher, it's making me feel simultaneously more sympathetic to the character, but also like I'm upset at some of the decisions he's clearly made to get to where he is. So yeah, I mean, it's just, it's very interesting stuff.
I'm gonna agree with Dave. I hate doing the low hanging fruit, but this was a star performance by Butcher in all of the. Mostly, like I said again, mostly it takes place in this flashback scene where he's kind of stuck in his own, memories. But the acting is just top notch. Like you can feel his pain throughout.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I in a bit of a swerve this week, I went with Soldier Boy. I felt like he had a good turn this week. He had some funny moments when he was like every time he's walking, he turns around, I was like, "What'd you say?" Huh?
Dude, that guy's lost his mind. Those were funny moments.
Yeah, those are some funny moments.
When he shot that nun,
that guy was good.
Yeah, when he shoots that priest and nun.
Oh God,
he's like, yeah, they were done.
Dude,
yeah, I kind of had that as an extra scene as well, just him and Huey versus the stranded passengers. Like he called it though. He's like no. Like this is what he does. He turns people against you. And sure enough, he was right.
Dude, I thought he was lost his mind. I was totally on Team Huey. I was like, dude, what are we like? He just randomly shot the dude, and I'm like,
right in the fucking face.
I'm like, and then the woman is screaming, and I'm like, oh no, this is bad. Like, and then the woman's just like like fucking jumps on Huey. Oh man.
All right. What about least fave? I'm gonna go. I got back to back this week. I got the Deep again. Golly, man, I'm just done with the Deep. Like,
come on, dude. He had some funny shit this week.
Look, his wife, she can be a bit overbearing, okay, but like
a bit, okay,
a bit, but like, not only is the Deep trying to introduce somebody else to the situation.
What's funny? She was totally she was actually down with it. She was
gonna try it
prior.
I wouldn't say she was down. I think it was just like okay. But look, for those that don't know, we're talking about the Deep trying to introduce a fucking octopus
into the bedroom.
Into the bedroom, yeah.
He's like,
and so
I think we just need to spice it up a little bit.
Am I recalling a line the Deep says to his wife and says that the octopus just wants to taste you?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I am remembering that correctly.
And one tentacle touches her leg, and she's like, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, God, dude. Dude, the fucking Deep. I want the Deep to die the worst possible death.
So one of the one thing I will say, and it's like one of the criticisms that the show gets, like just in general, is that the show has shock value just for shock value's sake. What I will say, I don't agree with that, but look, what I will say is that if I was going to even partially agree with any of that, the Deep scenes basically throughout his character's life has mostly been shock value oriented scenes. Like, when he had the gills.
Comedy.
Yeah, it's a combination of comedy and making you feel uncomfortable and shock value.
I mean, when he's trying to rescue the dolphin, that was straight 100% comedy.
Well, yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, but also some people wouldn't.
I feel like it gets run over by an 18-wheeler.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, in general, now I have convinced myself that when the Deep comes onto the screen,
something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen that, like, realistically is not going to, doesn't do anything for the storyline most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, if there was any scene that if there was any set of scenes you could cut at all from the boys, like, realistically, if you cut every Deep scene from this season, how much would be actually different? Like,
not much.
Well, I only think there would be some difference because I feel like the wife is still on the upward trend of maybe taking over a bigger part of the show, either taking over Vought or maybe moving to Homelander's side or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is a dynamic there because basically she said you'd be shit without me, and he was like, I don't need you, so he's supposed to go do this interview on Hannity, I think it was.
Hannity, yeah. And I think his only value this season is just elevating his wife.
Correct. I will say this. Even though the sex with sea creatures is kind of out there, I think for all of us who...
Jason's interested.
On brand.
I mean, I think all of us that watched another hero show I mean, it's confirmed. Like Aquaman does the same thing.
Aquaman fucks fish.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
So,
all right, who was y'all's least favorite?
I'm going to go a little bit bizarre here. My favorite character of the week was Butcher, and my least favorite character of the week is also Butcher, because this is one of those heel turns. You know he's a bad guy. Like, you know he's got problems. Like, he's not a bad guy, but he's got problems. And it garners sympathy for almost the entire episode. And then he has the opportunity, and maybe he'll redeem himself. In this episode is what we're talking about. You understand that he has feelings for Huey, that he sees Huey kind of akin to his younger brother who committed suicide. And Starlight tells him he needs to stop taking the V. Please, promise me you will tell him about the Temp V problem. He's like, no problem. He hangs up the phone, turns right around to Huey, is like, we got to go get some more Temp V.
Well,
it's just
look, he's about getting that job done, man.
No, I agree. But god damn it, that just like kick you in the nuts, bro. Just kick you in the nuts.
Yeah, I mean, my least favorite character is man, I have like a couple of different choices. I don't know. I'm gonna say Mindstorm. Just because that dude's kind of like a dickhead, and he honestly got himself killed. He stalled so much that that Soldier Boy had time to catch up. Had he just listened to Huey like right away, like they'd have been out of there. They'd have blipped. You know, he's like, I'll take you anywhere, and also he straight up told Huey. He's like, look, I've been in his head. This guy deserved it. Like, he's bad. I was like, man, fuck you. You don't know shit.
I don't know. Again, I mean, maybe that's foreshadowing. Maybe that's foreshadowing to him becoming the big bad of the series by the end.
All right, Butcher's the wolf. Maybe. Josh is out there with it.
That's gonna take the place of my Noir as a Homelander clone.
I mean, you've been holding on for dear life on that one.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I picked that, but I mean, I really didn't have a least favorite character this episode. This episode was a pretty tight episode. I mean, everybody kind of got their shit in. I mean, I Huey's even kind of come around, and like I'm kind of all in on Huey as well.
Yeah. So predictions.
God, I mean, I don't even know where you go.
I have a prediction.
Do it.
Go for it.
All right. So again, playing on the scenario that I was going to say the wolf, that Homelander and Soldier Boy team up, and we think this doesn't end well, right? Like somebody's got to die, and it's going to end on a bad note. I think this is going to be the end of Queen Maeve.
Okay.
I would completely agree.
Okay, I have. Okay, so like I'm going to piggyback on that. I agree with you 100%, but I also don't think we can go into next season. Well, and we might, but I don't think we can. I don't see a situation in which both Homelander and Soldier Boy team up and it goes any further into next year. Like, I could see a scenario in which they somehow kill Soldier Boy just as Homelander's like, holy shit, I have a dad.
Yeah, I actually I have the exact same prediction, Jason.
All right.
I think they do team up, so I think my prediction will end up being fulfilled. But I do think Soldier Boy does die. Like
hey, what do you think? You think like Huey teleports like into his body and separates him?
Something.
I don't know
that or okay. So here's the other part.
He seems to be impenetrable. So I mean, I don't think Butcher's going to cut him in half with the laser eyes.
Well, here's the other part of this. If Butcher has taken, let's just say 4. He's already done 4 doses. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's right there at the threshold. How do we save Butcher from whatever the ailment or whatever the brains turn to mush? I didn't read the fine print there on the report that Starlight had, but apparently 3 to 5 doses and the subject would perish.
Well,
so you think like Soldier Boy uses his powers to suck the powers out of Butcher essentially, and so that kind of like right sizes him?
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to figure out how we can keep Butcher going forward. In this scenario, because essentially the way I look at it is if that part doesn't get solved, then we have Butcher with like say that one dose, like that one bullet in the chamber, waiting for a perfect moment. And I don't think you would waste that. Maybe you do, and he kills. He helps kill. Soldier Boy, in the process, letting Homelander escape inadvertently.
Maybe Newman pops Soldier Boy's head.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good call.
So maybe it's a situation where Soldier Boy.
Maybe she's trying to pop Homelander's head, and he fucking like okey dokes and.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Hold on. Okay, so in the farm.
Sorry, Dave.
Newman is talking to Homelander, and she's like, "Let's make a deal," right? Yeah. But we don't get the full extent of what they discuss, right? What if Homelander told her about Soldier Boy, and so she ends up popping Soldier Boy's head just as like him and Homelander are about to share some kind of father-son weird ass moment because he forgot to tell her not to kill him.
He forgot to call off the dogs.
Yeah, that'd be some fucked up shit.
I love it.
And then Newman will have to die.
Yeah, and then Homelander turns and cuts her in half.
Okay, so me and Dave have already talked about this.
I like it.
So, Josh, the question is, knowing how fucked up The Boys is, or the show is, who is the mother of Homelander?
No.
Who carried the baby?
I think it was just a lab thing anyway. But I mean, if we were going to pick somebody, I think Stormfront would be like the obvious, just from a timeline standpoint.
Absolutely. So he was banging his mom.
Yeah, just like Marty McFly.
Yeah, and then his mom committed suicide.
Just like Marty McFly.
I think all of these things could happen and be revealed in like this big whole shit moment that finally pushes Homelander over the edge.
So we think there's another level of his fucking like of his craziness.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah. I just see all of these things and I'm just like, if all of these things were to happen simultaneously, like I don't think Homelander at this point or this stage of the show that we've seen, I think could handle all of that without just fucking, like the vision that he had where he just laser beamed the crowd. Like I just feel like I don't know if we're gonna get that actually, but like you could see him snap.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think these are all great scenarios, and I feel like we could probably be totally wrong, and there's still going to be some fucking great thing that we're just missing out on. I mean, this show's just bad. This show's batting 1,000.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get nothing of what we predicted, and we're going to be like, holy shit, dude, how did we not think of that?
Absolutely.
Bro, I'm going to watch this shit Thursday night. Like, I can't wait to get off work Thursday to come home and watch this shit.
Dude, I'm right there with you. We're going to be texting.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
But,
for sure. Is everybody here going to watch it Thursday night? Jason?
As far as I know, I'm going to try and watch it Thursday night. My wife is falling behind on the show. She's only watched the first, I think the first couple of episodes.
What an idiot! It's like almost it's like she had a kid or something.
I know. The whole feeding thing. Jesus.
No.
Responsibilities. Who needs that?
All right. Well, hey, man, looking forward to seeing you guys again next week when we get to talk about the season finale here of The Boys. So
I can't
in
wait.
In the meantime, live long and prosper.
Take it easy, everybody.
Later.
See you.